of a ring portal and joins the fight. They quickly realize that this isn't the Silver that they're used to, but rather one from a different timeline where he was mentored by back to his mentor. Although, based on his past, I wonder how long he'll be able to last mentally. Now, at this point, Lemon looks straight at the guy following, but his stares look more like horror. chop this guy down, or at least they have a better chance of holding him off so Sonic or somebody else can get him back him up. Now, back over with Tails, we see that he has grabbed Cream and is taking her to check on her mother.
Take out fucking
Makes Cream cover her eyes while he pulls out his arm pad and lifts Vanilla out of her misery. Can we get a rip for Vanilla down in the comments? In the next chapter, we get a small transmission from Eggman, and he's basically saying that all his test subjects have died, and none of his treatments are having any effect on the virus. And he's really starting to get worried because he's one of the smartest people in the world. That'll pop up, they have more effective legends from him. Eggman immediately orders them to take them out, which definitely won't be an issue for Metal, or at least up to date. Now, back over with Amy and Sonic, we see that the two of them are fighting side by side, trying to make their way to Angel Island so that they can actually help Knuckles. They've also heard that Silver is back at this point, and that's stressing them out a little bit as well because they understand that if he's here, that means that the world that he's come from has already dealt with this virus and it probably didn't go well. After that, we see Espio, and I'm happy to see that he's clean of the infection and his stats are all still pretty good. It seems like he and the rest of the Chaotix have been doing patrols and trying to help the citizens as best as they can. And while Charmy is still safe and sound, he keeps his word about Vector, who has been separated from her for a while. And when we finally actually see that sheet, Charmy wasn't right worried about. As you can see here, he is at the second stage of Vector. It seems like he's infected while checking out the story. And this is kind of a big deal because Vector is definitely one of the more strong characters in Earth, usually being ranked like right enough to serve overall power. And last but not least, this chapter we get to my boy Omega. He's been tasked with guarding both and Westtopolis, and he has been absolutely decimating the Vector. As you can see by this little dude on fire. Help me! In the next chapter, that Metal actually got banged up quite a bit when he went to defend the egg by a bunch of infected. But he did manage to win a fight and is now been repaired by Eggman and also getting some upgrades. Now, in this chapter, that Eggman has created present for the virus and currently has test subjects. And this means that if you test people when they are actually one of the infected, it can actually work. And while this is not really the full cure, it is after that, we see Tails, and he's kind of depressed at the fact that he has to move them down for free. Well, it definitely was the right thing to do. He understands that he's not free in the process and feels a lot of guilt. And we even get to see that Cream as well as the job. It's kind of strange. When we look here, we see that her stress and insanity are completely gone now. He doesn't really need that have type of break. We also see that the empty eyes watching her, and I wonder if it means she may actually expect it or if she's planning on it. While he's facing off against the Mimics, he reveals that if they let it get to the Emeralds, the world will basically go. He knows this because that's how his timeline ended up being destroyed. But then the Mimic drops some information that changes this whole battle. He says, I'm omnipresent. I'm here, there, everywhere. We are chaos. We are a hive. The Mimic reveals that the reason he was not surprised by Silver's arrival is because he remembers fighting him in the timeline. And whatever kind of creature he is, he basically can transcend dimensions, corrupt each of those dimensions, and then maintain memories from each. Definitely making this one of the more unique infection AUs that we've covered so far, and honestly one of the more dangerous villains that we've seen, period. And if all that isn't bad enough, we see that the Mimic has also caught a bunch of infected animals to help him fight, and with Knuckles already been exhausted, this could have been really bad. But right as Knuckles kind of collapses in front of the Master Emerald, he hears a voice that says, so we end up meeting a character that is usually overlooked sometimes. That's Paul, I believe is how you pronounce it. This character is actually the same race as Knuckles, and long story short, when Chaos went on a rampage, she ended up actually stealing it inside the Master Emerald and her own spirit as the watch. This is why the creature here is like the mix of Paul and Chaos. The next chapter comes over to a transmission where we see Tails speaking with Cream, trying to figure out what's wrong with her, because she just keeps asking about her mother, and they were people betrayed. Tails, why? Over and over again. And then we see the face of the Mimic pop up, and a portion of Tails' workshop goes up in flames. And we see here that Tails is looking for Cream, but honestly, I think that he's infected or being controlled by the Mimic. Luckily, Eggman gets word that Tails' lab is on fire, and once he realizes that Tails is still alive, he sets out to save him. Hopefully, he can get there before the Mimic can actually finish him off. Now, while that's happening, we see that Sonic and the gang have finally made it to Angel Island, and while Sonic's mentally stabbed for not looking great, he still rushes to the shrine to stop the Mimic. But Sonic is hesitant and unsure of how to fight this thing, allowing Amy to run in, and she immediately goes to attack him. Amy is far less wondering where Silver and Knuckle are at this point. Probably no one's doing this fight. And all this is transform arm when it takes all the form. We also learned here that he can morph into any creature that is following him. Considering how strong Vector is, Sonic is going to have to work out. The last thing that we see in the chapter is Eggman on Tails, while Tails is breaking up, only having one heart left in the heart. And while Eggman is usually more alive, he's actually kind of coming in clutch. Next chapter shows us a detail right now the way back to the Kaiser right now. And I want to point out two things. Shadow tries to use his chaos control to tap into the chaos energy, but finds that he can't use the ability. The second thing is that Amy actually tries to attack the Mimic and ends up getting slapped down for an effort. In the next chapter, we actually see that Amy's injury was much more severe than I thought. And we're literally putting his claw blood. And seeing this, Sonic goes to be raised for the starts to tell him this is part of the plan now. See here, Eggman inserted the Phantom Ruby into Metal's core, which grants him unlimited energy, and he's also reinforced his armor so that he won't get his arm or any other body part ripped off again. And I love the fact that even though they're in this world-ending event, Metal is thinking about challenging Sonic once this turn is defeated, and Eggman is only helping because he knows that he won't have room to take over if he doesn't assist Sonic and the others. The final stat sheet that we can see in this chapter is Ed flying around with Earth, and apparently the little dude got separated from SPO. But I guess we'll have to wait and see about it. In the next chapter, we get to see that Tails has woken up and his wounds are all healed. And while it seems like Tails is wary of Eggman, once he realizes that he saved him from the fire and that Cream is now gone, he seems to calm down, but he's obviously sad that Cream is missing. I think he's still having a hard time understanding that Cream may have had her mind taken over. After that, we see that Eggman is finally heading over to Angel Island, where he will send Metal into the fight, hopefully being able to turn the tide of this battle. And speaking of turning the tide, in the next chapter, we see Sonic has ripped off the Mimic's arm, saying an eye for an eye, since technically the Mimic is the reason that Sonic lost his arm. He then goes on to say a life for a life, meaning that he's going to kill the Mimic because the Mimic killed Amy. But even after taking all that damage, the Mimic still doesn't seem deterred, saying that even if they tear him limb from limb, he's still going to win. But after seeing Silver here, I'm not too sure about that. We see that he's making a fireball in his hand. That is because when Blaze died, she blessed him with the gift of the flames. And while it's hard to say how powerful this makes Silver, if he has even a fraction of Blaze's power plus his own strength, he should really be a force to be reckoned with right now. especially since the Mimic may not be aware of this extra power that Silver has. Next, we see Tikal again, who is actually getting nommed on by these chows, and I think the reason that she won't attack them has to do with her backstory. I'm pretty sure she befriended a bunch of these little dudes and was even a protector for them, which is why she's refusing to fight. The good news here is that Metal is on his way, and considering that he can't be infected and he doesn't have any sympathy for any of these enemies, I think he's going to be a huge help in this fight. Especially since, for whatever reason, Silver has lost his immunity. The final scene shows Tails back on his feet, and we learn that Eggman has upgraded the blaster that he keeps on his hand, making it more powerful and more accurate. And understanding that this is likely the most important battle happening at the moment, Eggman starts to head to the island, ready to see how he and Tails can actually aid in this fight. Unfortunately, this is where the AU stops at the moment, but it seems like this creator has been pretty consistent, so I'm sure that he's going to probably get some updates out pretty soon. Now, in all honesty, this AU was much better than I was anticipating. Usually when AUs only have the stat sheets, they are a little bit lacking, but this creator did a very good job of giving us like additional information and captions. Really now I right now the whole team kind of I really feel like Sonic and gang will simply overpower the Mimic unless something happens to Sonic. Dark Sonic is kind of a wild card, and it almost seems like the transformation for the first of the play. So if Sonic right now, Silver or Static as part of this really having powerful from the Sonic team out of the fight makes almost ensure that everybody else is wiped out. The other thing that works a little bit is that the trainer base turns early on. Humans can be affected by the fight, and I'm still not convinced they're not going to do something, especially since the virus is trying to kill them after this. As of right now, though, we'll have to wait